Captain's Log, Stardate 57284.9. We have been asked to take Commander Daystrom, Lieutenant Commander Surratt, and Lieutenant Commander Kem back to the Romulan minefield to study it more closely. Joining them in their studies is Commander White, not out of any particular interest in his part, but more out of the desire to make sure the Aurora doesn't share the same fate as the Rosemont. The ship is flying on yellow alert, with both Card and Nor keeping their eyes open for any trouble. Dr. Daystrom, Mr. Surratt, how are things progressing?
12 Class 8 probes have been prepared and are ready for launch, Captain. They have been outfitted with a full spectrum of sensors and are set to reach Warp 5 if needed. We may want to test to see if the minefield reacts to warp fields.
The controls are routed to Ops.
I have them now, Captain.
Very good, Nor. What of Mr. Kem and Mr. White?
They'll be monitoring both the ship's and the probe's readings from the science lab, while we do the same up here from the engineering station.
I'll give you credit, Doctor. It takes a special talent to convince Frank to give up his post.
Not really, Captain. We just explained, logically, that his familiarity with the nuances of this vessel made him a better choice for making any adjustments to the sensors as we progressed. As the designers of this particular vessel, my wife and I can handle the rest. Besides, we did not ask to take engineering from him, just this one panel on the bridge.
They used logic? That had to have frustrated the commander to no end.
That's enough, Mr. Card.
Yes, Jax. Frank is perfectly fine with logic. It's only when you apply logic to his theories that he starts getting twitchy.
You too, Mr. Timoneer.
Apologies, Commander Tobin.
It's all right, gentlemen. I don't mind keeping things a bit light at the moment. Keeps us from getting too weighed down, but only so long as we know when to snap to.
As you say, Captain.
Anyway, Captain, all we are waiting for is your command.
In that case, consider it given. Mr. Timoneer, fire when ready.
Yes, sir. Probes away.
What grid pattern do you intend to use, Doctor?
Probes 1 through 4 will cover the upper sectors where the ships have been attacked. 5 through 8 will be in the middle grouping, while 9 through 12 will search the area nearest to us.
The probes are going to their programmed assignments, Commander.
Bridge to Commander White.
White here, Captain.
Are we getting good readings, Commander?
Very good, Captain. Everything is coming through just fine. Surratt did a great job of setting up the long-distance probes with subspace transceivers. Quite a piece of work, sending through signals like if it was sitting right next to us. I might just have to steal the designs for future reference.
There's no need to steal anything, Mr. White. You may consider them given freely.
Keep an eye on things, and let me know if anything of interest comes through.
Very good, Captain. White out.
So how long do you think this is going to take, Lieutenant Commander?
As long as it takes, I would imagine, Commander.
Call me Frank. If we're going to be stuck in here with each other for hours, the least we can do is get to know each other a bit better.
I'm not sure of that, Commander.
Which part? Calling me Frank or the getting to know each other?
Either?
That's funny, Joff. I heard you like to keep your distance, but I'm sure it's all part of that typical distant chief of security bit.
I'm not sure I know what you mean, Commander.
Yeah, that routine. So tell me, how many hosts have you gone through, Kem?
I'm sorry, Commander, but that is a very personal question.
Yeah, I know. Figured I'd start out with the hard one so everything else is easy. And I told you, call me Frank.
Do I have to?
Don't make me making an order.
Very well, Frank. Joff is currently my 6th host. We've been together for 7 years.
See, that wasn't so hard. Have you always wanted to work security?
All of my 6 hosts have worked in security in some form or another. I have dedicated my existence to ensuring the safety of my people.
Wow, that's a long time. I bet you've seen some pretty weird things.
I've seen my share, depending on what you mean by weird.
Have you ever heard of Section 31?
Of what document?
No, the organization.
No. Do they work alongside Sections 30 and 32?
No, I've just heard that they are some kind of top-secret espionage organization that works outside of Starfleet.
If they were a top-secret organization, don't you think they would maybe picked a better name? Gone with some sort of acronym or something? Something less obtuse than Section 31?
Maybe.
And if they really existed, don't you think they'd take objection to people knowing about them? Or, if I did know something, wouldn't it be in my best interest not to say anything? It would probably be safer.
See, they probably want people to think like that, so those that know something keep quiet. As long as it's just a few people like me saying something, they still have plausible deniability. But if more people started talking about them, they would have to come in from the cold.
As long as we're playing this game, let me ask you one. What would happen, though, if you mention this to the wrong person? Someone who works for them. I mean, for all you know, I could be a Section 31, or whatever they call themselves. Now, by your logic, what would I be forced to do at this point in the conversation? Don't worry, Commander. Not only am I not a member of your fictitious organization, but I believe you are extremely safe, as they do not exist.
But wouldn't you say that as an agent to try to convince me otherwise?
Very good, Commander. You learn fast. Maybe you should resist the temptation, from this point forward, of sharing that little tidbit of conspiracy, for your own sake.
Maybe you're right, Joff. Can't be too careful after all.
Exactly. Did you have any further questions for me, Commander?
I don't think so. Maybe it would be better for us to just sit in silence for a while.
As you wish, Commander.
Okay, people, it's been 4 hours. Give me a progress report before I go into the captain's ready room.
The probes are functioning within standard parameters, Commander.
I meant, have we found anything yet? Any sign of the mines?
What my husband said in his own unique fashion was that all of the probes are still out there and haven't encountered any evidence of the mines. If they're out there, they haven't hit one yet.
It's getting damn unnerving.
Would you rather we hit something, Lieutenant?
With the probe? Sure. At least there we'd have some sense of accomplishment.
You just don't like sitting still, Jax.
Well, there's that too. The least we could do is move around a little, at least at impulse.
That would be highly illogical, Lieutenant. We would run the risk of encountering one of the mines ourselves.
I wasn't meaning wandering around the middle of a minefield. Oh, forget it. Just getting fidgety.
Well, get over it, Lieutenant, and stay sharp. Remember, we aren't just worried about the mines out here. We also stand a chance of encountering Romulans, and if they show up, we'll get plenty of opportunity to move.
They will meet your need for speed,
Though I like racing, not being chased.
I will agree with Jax, though, that I would have thought something would have been found by now. I mean, usually the idea behind a minefield is that you can't fly around without setting something off. Shouldn't at least one of the probes have hit something by now?
Theoretically speaking, you are correct.
Well, I, for one, don't mind the fact that explosions aren't going off around the ship.
Agreed, Commander.
I'm going to go in and give the captain an update. For what it's worth, Timoneer, you have...
Red alert!
What is going on?
Guard, heading 271 Mark 3. Move!
Someone tell me what's going on.
It appears as though the operations officer is asking the con officer to move the ship.
And people don't think you have a sense of humor.
I do not. I'm Vulcan.
Report!
Probe number 10 is coming straight at us, Commander.
What now?
Probe number 10 has just exploded, Commander.
Someone had better start explaining, and do it quickly.
What the hell is going on out here?
Working on it, Captain.
Apologies, Commander. Captain, it was my fault.
Explain, Lieutenant, and make it good.
I picked up something on my sensors. It seemed like it was coming at the ship.
You mean like a torpedo?
I don't think so. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I'm sorry, Commander. All I know is that the sensors picked up on something and I reacted. It didn't seem as though there was time to do anything else.
Well, Violetta, it seems as though it worked out for the best. But what happened to the probe?
I knew that we needed a probe to blow up. I moved one in to take our place.
Quick and witted. A wonderful combination. Good job.
Next time, however, let the rest of us in on the plan, Lieutenant. Agreed?
Commander.
Excellent. Now that that's been cleared up, what's on the sensors, Doctor? Lieutenant Commander?
Running sensor records now, Commander.
But...
What did she pick up, Lieutenant Commander? Well? Hello? Someone shut off these alarms.
We're checking, Captain, but we're not finding what she picked up. The records are clear.
That's odd. Maybe they picked up something down in the lab. Bridge to White.
Here, Captain. What on earth are you people trying to do to my ship?
Your ship?
You know what I mean, sir.
Card said he was getting bored, so we decided to let him have some fun.
That'll teach him.
Nor threw a probe in the way of a mine that was going to blow us all to pieces. Did you pick up anything from it before it exploded?
That would be probe number 10.
Sensors reported nothing, neither before it changed direction nor before it went to probe heaven.
Electronic devices do not have an afterlife, Commander.
Don't tell the Holographic Liberation Front that. They'll try to make Starfleet give them one.
So what you are telling us, Commander, in your own unique fashion, is that you have nothing.
Correct, Commander. And none of the other probes picked up on anything either.
They were out of range after it was taken off of its assigned area.
Then what did you see, Nor?
At the moment, I really don't care. I'm just grateful she did. Let's call back in the probes and get out of here, people, before we push our luck any further than is wise.
So, do I understand correctly when you say that we are no closer than we were before you left?
I wouldn't go that far, Admiral.
No.
While we're no closer to learning what it is we're dealing with, I believe it's safe to assume that we are not dealing with the same type of mines as was discovered by the Enterprise. In fact, I believe it's safe to say that we're dealing with a whole different type of technology, something far more sophisticated than anything we've ever dealt with.
These are more advanced than the self-replicating mines developed on Deep Space Nine during the Dominion War.
If I didn't know any better, Surratt, I'd swear you were a bit jealous of the design.
Fortunately, Captain, you do know better.
Touché, Commander.
By what Nor reported, is it at least safe to assume that we aren't dealing with mines? According to the reports, she said the explosive device was on an approach.
Not necessarily, Admiral. For all we know, the mines could have maneuvering thrusters on them. That may be why our probes were missing them. They could just move out of the way.
Is that a likely scenario? Could such a thing work?
Give me 10 minutes in the lab, Captain, and I could have a functional prototype.
Minus the cloaking technology, of course.
Of course.
Okay, so we have an idea of what it's not, and theories of what it might be.
Correct. We have one other thing as well. Before, we assumed that the ships were hit at random. We believe now, however, that they're directed attacks in some way.
Perhaps through mines whose sensors can detect Federation warp signatures.
Which makes a dangerous situation even worse. Great. Joff, you've been conspicuously quiet. Do you have anything to add?
Not in the present company, Admiral, no.
Really? Why not?
Because it's not my place, Admiral.
Nonsense, Chem. What's wrong?
Permission to speak freely?
I could have sworn that's what I just gave you, Lieutenant Commander.
Oh, with all due respect, Admiral, I wasn't speaking to you. I was speaking to the captain.
Me? Sure, why not?
I believe we left the area too soon. I do not like leaving a situation without all the facts on the enemy or without them being defeated. I believe we should have stayed in the area until we had all of the answers before fleeing.
Mr. Chem, I believe you're overstepping...
No, Admiral, it's all right. I gave him permission. We both did. But I appreciate his forthrightness. It gives me the chance to clear the air before it gets too thick. We left Joff, primarily because there wasn't an enemy to fight. When that time comes, you can rest assured that my crew and I will be there on the front lines, willing to sacrifice ourselves if the need arises. But until we are sure of what we're facing, until we have a plan to win, it's my job as captain to know when it's best to fight, or when it's best to return home alive to fight another day.
You've been listening to Star Trek Eras, Episode 3, Yours, Mines, and Ours, starring, in order of appearance, Jim Caswell as Avery, Ann Michaels as Dr. Navid Daystrom, Haley Whitting as Captain Lena Bradshaw, Pete Nodditt as Lieutenant Commander Riley Finnegan, Oscar Hopeful as Chief Ray Barkley, Eli Marty as Lieutenant Junior Grade Rativnaram, Matt Halloran as Captain Patrick Michael Connerly and Lieutenant Jax Card, Jonathan Michaels as Lieutenant Commander Surratt, Joan Halloran as Lieutenant Junior Grade Violetta Knorr, Emmy Hopeful as Commander Jared Tobin, Rick Steele as Lieutenant Commander Jahos Timoneer, Andy Fox as Commander Frank White, and Sam Smythe as Lieutenant Commander Joff Kemp. Eras is a production of Timewell Electronic Recording Productions, with Star Trek being the property of Paramount Studios, copyright 2007. Yours, Minds, and Ours was written by Jim Caswell, edited by Ken Halloran, and mixed by Matt Halloran. Music was composed and produced by Matt Halloran, which was partially based upon the work of Ron Jones. This has been a Twerps Online presentation.